Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ron. Today we got episode 2 of how far we can take Digitrax. So this is the so-called aircraft carrier of my experimentation for Digitrax, just to making sure I understand how to wire everything, how all the components interact with each other, and just to give me a visual idea on just how a potential layout can be when I take these equipment to the full scale. This is the small scale test experiment, and so today on the last episode, I didn't really show you how things were operating because it was more of the introduction level. And I do apologize, that was about 6 months ago, so yeah, we had a move in between now and then, but now here's episode 2. We've got the aircraft carrier basically all powered and ready to go. Basically, I have a DS52 here that goes into our bus terminal here that separates all of our wiring into the respective components. I've got a BDN4 here. I got the DS74 connected to, I believe it's DSXC4. That's this guy right here, connected to all of our momentary push buttons. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch of it here. I've got 3 basically connected here to the DSXC4 to the DS74. I've got a train here to kind of demonstrate things. And on the bottom down here, I've got my tortoise switch machine with a terminal bus here, so that way I can easily connect and disconnect the wiring there. Underneath here, I have the SE8C. This is our signaling board. And then this powers my layout, so that's not really relevant to this, but I also got my expansion board. Again, you guys can see all this wiring from episode 1 of this series. So as you can see, here is my the DSX-C4 here that's interconnected with all sorts of momentary push buttons. Again, you can see my first video on how I got this wired, but as you can see, here's momentary push button number 1. Goes in here, goes into DS74, which then turns the switch on the motor on the tortoise switch machine. And then I got another push button here that allows me to also switch it. And then this is the new Digitrax momentary push button with the light indicator. I love this. This is something I'm definitely going to dive into a lot more on my modular layouts. But as you can see, it's also got a light on there. See if I can get this thing to focus here. There we go. But very addicting with this. But so yeah, that's pretty much kind of the setup here on how it actually runs. Okay, so now just to kind of demonstrate the BD4N here. So basically the way this is set up is that I've got the block detection that goes into the DSC4 here, or DSXC4, and that goes into the DS74. And what this allows me to do is this allows me to connect via Digitrax to go to a computer, to like a PR4, so that way I can get JMRI control for these blocks here. Now what I've done here is I've got 4 independent blocks. So I've got an isolator there, over here next to the engine. So basically I got block 1, the switch track is 2, 3, and 4. So that way you guys can see visually how this works. And so as I take the engine here from blocks 1, what is it going to be, 3, 2, 1, you'll see the light over here. I know it's kind of bright here, but just to demonstrate that everything is working correctly, you've got the lights here on the BD4, and as you can see, there's 1 and 2, and then one of the lights will dim and it'll go into the next block here. Again, kind of hard to see that on camera. I'll see if I can zoom in here. Again, this is an ISO frog, so the engine tends to have a little bit of issues. But yeah, that's how that works. I put this plastic cover over it because these lights are definitely can blind you a little bit. And what's cool about this is that there's a 8-pin connector for another ribbon cable to go onto this, so that way you can spread it out and have it put it onto a physical light board for like a dispatcher. So that way you can also take this analog as well. So that's really cool. I'm definitely going to expand this BD4N onto my layout here. I'll probably use a bigger board to do this, but again, still more experimentation is needed to see how big I really want to go with this. So as far as the signals are concerned, the signals are powered by the board back here underneath here with the SC86, if I remember correctly. Again, yeah, SE86 board. Now, there's been quite of a conversation, let's just put it that way, with the SE86 and the brand new SE74, which I have here. This is going to be episode 3. I'm basically going to take this and replace the DS74 and the SE86 because this allows me to control, I believe, up to 4 turnouts. Yeah, I can control up to 4 switch control outputs for solenoid or slow motion turnout. So that means I can basically use this to replace the SE86 and the DS74, which is nice, convenient, and a small little package. Now, yes, it is. Let me address the elephant in the room when it comes to the SE74. I'm kind of going into my next video a little bit, but I was spoiling it, I should say. So yes, the SE74 is definitely a downgrade from the SE86s. If you have 8C or SE86s, or man, I cannot pronounce this right, SE8 Charlies or C, definitely save these boards, because if you have a much bigger layout, like a museum quality layout, I highly recommend kind of a little bit of an amendment to my video that I put out about the news article about it. That yeah, these boards are definitely the way to go for you. However, for me personally, this is the way I'm definitely going to go, because I have a modular layout, and these, especially with this protective covering here, works a lot better for my layout, for me being mobile, and this allows me to control switches and signals all in one nice little package. For the SE86s, you definitely want to grab those as much as you can, because they're going to be out of production now that the SE74 is online. Don't necessarily agree with Digitrax that they're discontinuing this the SE86s, but who knows? They may have a bigger one come out in the future. But again, the biggest thing about the SE74s too is that you only have 4 signal inputs, whereas the SE86, or man, I always want to say 6 C's only have up to 8 signals. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about that, and we'll go into much more detail about that in the next video. So again, kind of the future for this, I'm going to replace my DS74 and the SE86s with the SE74s, so that way you guys can see this bad boy in action on this particular board. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and talk about the signals. So as I talked about last time, the signals are connected to the SE8 or C's, and each one of them has their own unique signal. Again, you can reference the table instructions on Digitrax to assign each particular board, how to wire them, and then go from there. But again, the wiring is done down here. You can see how you got that ribbon pin that's connected to these boards here that allows me to control the signal heads. Now what you can do is, orientation does matter. If I remember correctly, these signals, if you rotate it 180, is another set of signal addresses. So right now, this orientation, the way I have it pointing, their numbers are going to be right here. So 273, 274, 275, 276, and so forth, to control the green, to control the red, and to control the yellow, or the flashing yellow, depending on which switch number you give it to your controller. So for instance, I'm going to go ahead and give this a switch command. I want this to be a yellow, so let's go 274, and I'm going to throw a throw command. So now you can see I've got the flashing yellow. Now if I close it, it becomes a solid yellow. Flashing, closed, thrown, and in mainline mode you got yellow. So it works exactly like how you do a turnout, because a turnout has its particular address. So thrown closes, open. Same thing with signals, they have their own numbers and they thrown it. And there's my green. So now what I'm going to do is I want to go to a 273 command, because I want to go back to green. And so I've got it in the closed position, which is green. Throw or open it, now it's a red. So now I can control it from there. Now what's cool about it is that the SE86 and the new upcoming SE74 also has local net, which allows me to assign and program this on a JMRI dispatch board, which is where we're going to be taking this layout eventually. So, and I can do the same thing for that light over there. And then I did have a light here, however, that one is now connected to my layout over here. So you can kind of see it next to the front runner engine right there. And my kitten has allergies, which I'm so sorry for, but okay. That is my Mary. Cute little kitten. Okay, so let me go ahead and tighten this down. So yeah, that is basically how this functions. Now, this was definitely my test bed of how I really wanted to understand how things worked. If I haven't explained the wiring on the BD4N, basically I've got it coming from my splitter here to, let's pretend I think it's rail A. Rail A goes into here. Rail A then powers this one side of the track all the way through. And then you gotta put isolators on rail B, the opposite side, and then isolate it one at a time. So you can see here I've got 4 blue. That gives me 4 blocks essentially. So yeah, that's pretty much how you get block detection. It's how you get signals. It's how you get turnout control. And then now we put everything all together to put it onto a JMRI dispatch board, which is what I'm planning on doing right here. I've got my PR4 here. Now what I think I'm going to do is get another PR4 or connect it to the PR4 that's internally built into my DCS52. So that way I can just do it from an operation standpoint. I have a PR4 that deals with the dispatch and the actual operations of this particular modular layout. As you can see here, I'll do a quick 360 here for the entire layout. And that's basically it there. So yeah, I'll get a second one to connect to there, and then I'll be the dispatch board. So I'm definitely excited for that. LNWI is right here controlling my wireless capabilities. And so what I've done there, obviously this is a series about how far I can take Digitrax, but for now I've got a basically Samsung A7 Lite throttle here. So now I've got engine driver on this. So this allows me to free up my phone, so that, because this doesn't connect to data or anything, I just connect it to the LNWI here. Using engine driver, and now you can see the front runner basically driving all around. So basically got the green light over there. I'm going to attempt to put that to red, so I'm going to put the switch. Let's see here, so we're going to give the switch command, and we're on the I think it's 263. Let's try 263. Oops, 263. No, that's 261. Oops, no. So let's do switch 261. Boom. So now you can see my switch over here has gone from green to red. So now I can control that light from here. So now when the front runner comes around, again, I'm controlling it from my engine driver. As we approach that red stop, we have some sort of operations going. So again, just kind of quirky, but it works. So that is basically the SE8C in a nutshell. And I do have plans to probably expand that a little bit more. But again, for the sake of this experiment, we're going to use the SE74 next. So between this episode and next episode, I'm basically going to disassemble the 74, going to disassemble the SE8C here. We're probably going to end up using this for the main layout, so that way I have a little bit more options. But yeah, that's basically this this whole experiment operational. So hopefully this helps you a little bit in your endeavors. Again, I'm here to showcase, I'm here to kind of just test things. When it comes to the nitty-gritty like wiring and coding, the best thing I can say is follow the instructions on Digitrax. I know it is definitely more techie mindset type of instructions, but I'll do the best I can to at least showcase them. So hopefully you can take this, and if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer it. But again, my objective here is to just show you how far we can take things, And I don't want to bore you or try to go into the much technical aspects of how all this works, but just give you ideas. So with that, guys, thank you so much for watching episode 2 of How Far We Take Digitrax, and I'll see you on the next episode.